dating a man in his 30s? Are you dating a millennial? If you are, you definitely want to watch this video because there's some things that you just need to know so that you are equipped and ready. And I will see you right after this. Hello and welcome back. My name is Chengi. I am your dating and relationship expert here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, where we teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, high worth woman that quality men find completely irresistible. But other than just having a little bit of fun with you on this YouTube channel, we are really here to educate you on relationship dynamics. And I know that some of the men watch this as well, and you are welcome to join the Black Swan Relationship Academy for our private coaching sessions. And you can learn a thing or two about dating and relationships from these videos too, because a lot of the stuff that I share here applies to both men and women. But of course, this is our high value feminine community here on YouTube, and so stay tuned and let me tell you a thing or two. The Millennial Generation is a very, very fascinating generation, one that I give a lot of respect to. These are children that were born with phones in their hands. My generation, which is a Gen X, we were the transitional generation. We were the ones that first saw computers, and it was Lotus 1, 2, 3, and it was still very much basics, and we were still mesmerized by computers. We were there. We saw the transition from computers to the internet to the digital space to mobile phones. We saw it all emerge, and we raised and we had children, and we raised those children in that world. That is what the millennial was born into. And so they don't understand often that has shifted the culture and the way they do humanity, really. Social skills are down to bare minimum, especially us girls. And really, we just, millennials struggle to just really understand the world for what it is, to accept the world for what it is. And it is the millennial generation that is really being sucked into the manosphere by a lot of bitter older men, because they are also the generation that experience fatherlessness in bulk. A lot of men in their 30s were raised without a father because they were raised with women's lib mothers, Gen X mothers who were pioneers of liberating women and bringing feminism to the table. And so many of them were raised in environments where there was really no masculine energy. Now, the issue is that when we start to date these men, whether you're the older woman dating a younger millennial man, you must understand something about this generation that makes them very unique. Millennial men flow in both feminine and masculine energy equally. This can also mean that they can manifest a sense of narcissism because they want the benefits of both, they want to flow in both, and they don't necessarily feel comfortable being in one. A millennial man is going to lean more into feminine energy. A millennial man is going to be more concerned with how things feel than how things are and what needs to be done. He's gonna be only willing to do the things that feel good for him to do. Millennial men, by and large, are not your front runners. They have learned to see strong, powerful women lead. Millennial men are really drawn to smart, successful, powerful women. Yes, they are learning online to want women that perhaps are caregivers, homemakers. Yes, they think they want that, but in truth, they actually want a running mate. They're the power couple dynamic generation. They want a woman who can stand side by side and get stuff done with them. They want a woman they can build empires with. Unlike the Gen X's and the baby boomers who wanted to build the empire that they would let their queen live in. And so if you're an older woman dating a younger millennial, you're gonna find it very interesting because they won't have a problem with you paying for things. They won't have a problem with you being the masculine at any point in the dynamic until they're ready to step in. Now, of course, I am generalizing here. You will find that there is always the exception to the rule. But by and large, this is the experience you're going to have. And this is what I say to my clients when they come to me and they start talking about certain things. And, Chengi, this is how it is. When you're dating a millennial, you will not get 100% provider. You can forget that. For the most part, if he is leaning towards his masculine, he will probably do the 60-30, 70-30, 60-40 dynamic. But these are a generation of men raised with a 50-50 mindset. We can go on a whole parade and talk about this till the cows come home. But if it is a man in this age range that you want, there's gonna have to be some adjustment on your part. As much as you may want something different, you will have to adjust or date older, or maybe date a Gen Z, because that is an interesting generation too, which we shall talk about on another video. They are not financially established. This is the generation of men who are coming out and not having domination of the market. When I was growing up, men occupied the market. Men were the ones that had the jobs, that brought in the money, that had power over the money. But obviously, as women have become more liberated and opportunities have become available for women, now men have to compete with other men and women in the marketplace. And so the ability to secure wealth has reduced. A millennial man will only secure wealth if he has a great business acumen and he knows how to use the digital space to create something for himself. Other than that, a millennial guy is probably earning between 30 and 40,000. This is not the kind of money that makes for a 100% provider. This is not the kind of money that makes for even a 60% provider. This is the kind of money that requires his mate to come alongside with him and build. And this is partly why economically they do veer from feminine to masculine. You never know where you are with them, because economically and the way the world is shifted, they simply just do not have the financial muscle to be able to be the dominant masculine at all times. And so we've got to understand that a man in his 30s would not have established himself. He's more likely, and men in general do not establish themselves in their 30s. They tend to establish themselves in their 40s and in their 50s. And so when we're dating these men, we must be patient and willing to build alongside them. I know that you want a provider. You want that guy who will take care of business. But this is not going to be possible if this is the man that you are dating. You're better off dating older if you want that, or be willing to reduce your lifestyle considerably for that to be the case. And we all know that none of us really want to reduce our lifestyle. I created the Black Swan Nation because I wanted women from all over the world to be able to access on the point help with their dating and relationship needs. We have the expertise of our world-class coaches, including myself, supporting you ladies through your dating journey, to have access to live coaching without having to blow the bank. This, of course, we can only take a certain amount of ladies and support a certain amount of ladies, but I want you to know that you are currently welcome to the Black Swan Nation. You may end up on a waiting list, or you may get lucky and be able to get right into the Black Swan Nation, where we provide more insight, where we discuss more personal stories that will be of use to you. In the Black Swan Nation, there are no holds barred. It is unfiltered. It is only for the brave, because in the Black Swan Nation, we give you the raw truth. So all you have to do is follow the link on this video, and we will see you on the other side. Also, dating men in their 30s, this is usually the age where the men that got married younger are actually getting divorced. The reason they're getting divorced is because, for the most part, they married women who were under the age of 30. And we know that as we turn 30 as women, we have a change of heart and a change of awakening. We come into our womanhood in a way that we never have before. And this is usually the time where a lot of women will file for divorce, because probably in their 20s, they were enduring the molding and the making that men do to women, because it is a man's desire to control, to have a woman that he can control, that he can groom to suit his needs and his ways. And of course, that is why they marry young and fertile, because, well, a younger mind is more moldable, and a fertile body, well, you're hardly going to leave if you've got my children. And so men, not all men, But many men enjoy the idea of leading a woman her mind and crafting a mind. But the time a woman hits the age of 30, she really has thoughts of her own, and often she begins to rebel the programming, the grooming, the whole setup that she had, and she wants to own her own voice. And at this point, often there's a massive clash. And if these two people do not go for counseling and they do not go for other things, then this relationship, usually the woman applies for divorce. Now, what we need to understand is that there will be relational shifts in every relationship. There will be times when the man is going to go through andropause and he's going to shift and want something different from his mate and want a different setup from what was there before. Shifts happen in relationships all the time. Somebody goes to school, and they go to school and they get a PhD, they get a master's, they get a new job, they earn more. Shifts happen all the time in relationships. But because we have a quitting culture, what normally happens is when the shift happens and there's enough discomfort, we just walk away. Obviously, we want to create more of a healing culture, a therapy culture, a counseling culture that allows people to work through some of these difficult times. But chances are, if you're dating a man in his 30s, you're going to find a man who is probably going through a divorce, has just gone through a divorce with young children. Men in their 30s, if they're divorced, usually will have young children. That matters because obviously they're doing their best to be present for their children, and you simply will not be a priority. Trying to date a man who has young children takes something special out of a woman, and it takes a very special man for him to recognize that this woman can be an asset to my child and to the thing that I'm trying to create. But we have to face the fact that men in their 30s are not yet matured enough to manage a lot of these things. They're often reacting emotionally to the situation. Men really truly come into social and emotional maturity as they begin to hit their 40s, when they no longer have the hunt in them, and when they no longer have that need for fresh meat and fresh things, and that testosterone levels are starting to lower. This is when men become a lot more emotionally intelligent, or unless they work on themselves, which they hardly do, especially when they've secured a wife and a family, they tend to think they've arrived. If there is in the relationship dynamic, men get comfortable very, very quickly in a relationship. It's just how they're naturally wired. After the hunt, they gather, they settle. With us women, when we get married, this is the beginning of the relationship. The rest was for him. This is the beginning. This is when we want more effort. This is when we want more attention. This is when we want more of what we had before. And so with that, a lot of millennial men don't understand that. They are still operating very much in and from instinct and their primal nature rather than an elevated emotional intelligence. By and large, there are a lot of amazing millennial men to marry, a lot of amazing millennial men to be with, but you will find that these traits do go through. And of course, there are ways of actually dealing with it, speaking your mind, and there are courses in the academy that will help you do that. How to talk to men so they listen, feminine mastery, you leaning more into your feminine so that he can find more space for him to occupy the more masculine space. There's so many things that we can do to bring balance and harmony when we're dating men in their 30s. But I want you to know that they're very, very special species of men. They're very, very special, and we cannot deal with them in the way that we deal with masculine men in general, because they don't normally sit in masculine energy. I hope that this video was helpful, and I will see you on my next one. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you. Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway? And what are you going to start practicing right away? Those three things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look, and I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all of your comments, and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.